The following is an exclusive presentation of Raycom Sports and Jefferson Pilot Sports.
The second round of the ACC season started this afternoon. In Charlottesville, a gallant Cavaliers effort couldn't conquer top-ranked Duke. The Blue Devils improved to 7-0 in the league, posting their 18th win of the season. In sold-out Cole, the Terps' terrific home court play claims another nationally ranked guest. 23rd rated Clemson goes down for the fourth time in ACC action. Tonight, Florida State and North Carolina take center stage. Last month's game in Tallahassee wasn't decided until the final minute. Vince Carter made a triumphant return to his home state, and he silenced the home crowd with his above-the-rim act. He and Antoine Jamison led the Tar Heels to an 8-point win. The Seminoles look to even the score in Chapel Hill as two top 20 teams go to battle tonight. The Dean Dome awaits as Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports present Atlantic Coast Conference basketball. Tonight, live from Chapel Hill, second-ranked North Carolina faces its second meeting with 20th rated Florida State. We are delighted to have you with us this evening alongside Gil McGregor. I'm Paul Kennedy. Yes, the second go-around between North Carolina and Florida State. The Heels prevailing by 8 at Christmas time in Tallahassee. But Bill Guthridge very leery of the Noles now. He says outside of Duke and Carolina, Florida State has the best talent in the ACC, Gil.
It was an 81-73 victory by North Carolina, but it was a hard-fought victory because this is a good club. They've got a guy named Randall Jackson that over the last 4 games has averaged 18 points a game. He got 19 against Wake Forest. The guy can play. This club is pretty good.
How about Antoine Jamison? In the last game, a win for North Carolina. He did nothing to diminish his candidacy as the National Player of the Year.
He is getting lots of mention about the National Player of the Year, and he should be. 36 points, that was a career high for him. Look at the field goal percentage, almost 83. Double figure in rebounding. He has scored over 20 points 15 times this season. Antoine Jamison's got a lot of talent. He's going to show it this evening.
They are packed in here tonight in blue heaven. Our keys to the game between North Carolina and Florida State just ahead from noisy Chapel Hill.
ACC basketball is being brought to you by Buick, by Nations Bank, by Pepsi, by Bell South, by Dodge, and by Budweiser.
21,000 plus tonight in the Dean Dome. The last time these two tangled in the Christmas holidays, just a bucket separated the two, Gil, with about a minute to play until Carolina's free throws put it away.
Well, free throws did it for Carolina. Florida State had some miscues in that first game, which leads us to our keys. And if Florida State wants to be successful today, they're going to have to make sure that turnovers are something that you only get at a bakery. They can't afford to lose the ball. They're not sweet. And second chance points, you talk about a Florida State team that doesn't rebound well on the defensive boards. They better do that today if they want to win. Inside jokes, well, it's not a joke here in Carolina. With two guys shooting over 60%, Jamison and Carter, it's serious inside. And Carter, he could be invincible when he's playing a great game. It'll be something to see today in the Dean Dome.
He turned his left ankle against NC State. It's in a brace tonight. He's less than 100%. What impact does that have? Our shining lineups in a moment from Chapel Hill. Always special to come here to Chapel Hill for Florida State tonight. 4 of its 5 starters returning from a year ago. This is a very solid lineup for Steve Robinson.
It's an experienced lineup, and that's important. Corey Lewis is going to be big. He's a good shot blocker. He'll get challenged this evening.
For North Carolina, it's inside game, Gil, as you were saying, with Wadabola Akalaja, Antoine Jamison, and Maktar Jai. Solid as a rock, and Ed Cota spectacular in that win over NC State.
And Javon Williams shooting the outside jump shot is something Florida State got to guard against.
Working this game this evening, there's Zelton Steed, along with Mike Wood and Chuck Pitts. Zelton driving over this evening from Greensboro. He is ready to go. Mr. Wood has the ball in the center circle. And welcome to a night in prime time of ACC hoops. Opening tap, tap twice. Here comes Carolina. Shaman unloads for three. We are underway.
Well, I like the way Shaman comes out and shoots a jump shot after I mentioned that his outside shooting is going to factor in.
Perhaps he heard you. He tops this squad in threes. Lewis from the baseline into the arms of Jamison. 16 boards 3 nights ago in Raleigh for Antoine. Just own the glass. High low man. Lost the handle going up.
Great back door. Had he not lost the handle, the first highlight of the night would have been on tape.
He is playing with a bandage on his left elbow. When he took that hard tumble, it's his elbow that still bothers him more than his back. And Lamar Greer commits this game's first turnover. Ball security, a major concern for Florida State. They turned it over far too many times in the first meeting between these two.
And in ACC play, Paul, they average 5 more turnovers a game than the opposition. That's too many giveaways in order to win.
Jamison down low, reverse move. 5-zip heel.
Inside play is something that Florida State's going to have to really shut down from Carolina if they can.
Jackson looked to get it to Lewis. Instead, Jai deflects it off to Shaman. The feet ahead to Cota. Cota the dish to Jamison.
This is such a quick start. Steve Robinson's going to have to make up his mind whether or not he wants an early timeout. But you see, he yelled out, slow this thing down. Try to keep this crowd out of it here in Blue Heaven.
Thompson for Randall Jackson to the glass. Lewis with the offensive board, and he was fouled by Nakhtarjan.
Antoine Jamison, we've highlighted him early on. We'll highlight him all night. He's so quick that every shot he takes usually is an easy shot because he's done so much work to get open that the shot doesn't have to be difficult.
Antoine Jamison, look at the field goal percentage, Gil. He's hit his first 2. Difficult to miss when you're laying him in.
Well, because he's so quick, he is getting good looks, but 74% is big no matter how you do it.
Randall Jackson is on the bench at the moment. He's been replaced by Oliver Simmons, driving Kerry Thompson. Blocking foul on Carolina. Jai has his second in the blink of an eye.
That is a big occurrence. We talk about the rotation for North Carolina. They play 6 people primarily. And you see Coach Robinson talking to Randall Jackson. Now, that's a guy that he relies on. He's not taking him out to punish him. He's taking him out to say, get ready.
His first trip here to Chapel Hill as either an assistant coach or a head coach. And certainly in his first year now in the ACC, learning of the rigors of this league. That was deflected by Okalaja, one of the best defenders in college basketball. Cota behind the back, who feeds Jai. Rattles around and goes. A couple of assists for Cota. 4 unanswered buckets for North Carolina.
Well, they haven't missed. They're getting it out. They're getting it down.
A perfect start for the Tar Heels at home. 7-0, a perfect record so far on their home floor. Greer dishes. Simmons just into the game. That rolled across the iron. Finally, though, Corey Lewis has a bucket for the Garnet and Gold.
And you had Jai and Jamison down on the floor, and with what happened against North Carolina State, every time a Tar Heel hits the turf tonight, I'm sure people are going to wince and hope nothing's wrong.
They don't hit the turf, Gil. They hit the hardwood. Here. That's across the street.
Well, see what you cross-reference the sport, so everybody's paying attention. You know, the football people, they'll pay attention too.
They had a pretty good football year here, didn't they?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Here is Shaman, whose coach says he is driving the ball so well now. Did a dribble drive, got a screen 2 from John.
Nice finish. The crossover was quick, and the shot was, again, the easy shot because the move was so good. You got to get some looks inside if you're Florida State. You got to get some buckets.
They're playing on the perimeter at the moment. Randall Jackson back at the scorer's table, as is Vince Carter.
See the pressure on the ball as Carolina comes out, and they try to trap a little bit from the half court man-to-man.
The quick trigger by Thompson off the Giant. Here's Cota. Long bounce pass to Shaman. Back defensively, though, was Florida State. Baker got back well.
Florida State is a very good defensive team, Paul. But Jamison is a pretty good offensive player, so your defense doesn't count.
He has hit 11 of his last 13 field goal tries going back to the NC State win.
But again, that was a good shot because he did the work prior to catching the ball. Young players, you need to watch how hard Antoine works to get the ball so the shot doesn't have to be the most difficult thing he does.
The lob to Lewis. Good head fake. Contact on Jai, and he got a break, did Maktar. He could not afford the third foul. Corey Lewis with both baskets so far for stunned Florida State.
So if you're Florida State, you need to target Maktar Jai because you know he has the 2 fouls. You got to take advantage of that. Go at him every time.
Cota now will reload with 15 on the shot clock. The first 9 points tonight, if you're just joining us, scored by Carolina. Williams bounces, Jamison there, and it goes. Count it. He's fouled.
The inside game of North Carolina is no joke. When they get the ball down on the post and they look to do it, usually it's the jive. They really execute. Now, there's Jamison rolling back door. Cota sets a great screen, and it's just too late. Simmons gets there too late because, one, Jamison is quick, and he knows exactly where he is on the court when he catches the ball.
Simmons with the foul departs. Returning, of course, Randall Jackson. Vince Carter, as Carolina starts, alphabetical fashion on the floor for the first time. Jamison, 4 of 4 from the field. The three-point play, 9 of the 16 for Carolina. Off to a great start in the Dean Dome.
The first half is barely 5 minutes old, and North Carolina has a 16-4 lead over Florida State. Antoine Jamison doing the early work to get the good position for the easy shot. Because he is always moving, because his teammates look for him, Cota has 3 assists, and there's another one in Jamison again, getting the ball and getting the bucket.
Jamison tonight, you see the brace on his bruise, left elbow, and of course, Ed Cota, you add his 3 assists tonight, that is 30 in 2 games in 5 minutes. 30 assists, kid.
I wish I had played with a guy like that, Paul. Averaging over 7 assists a game, better than anybody since Bill Ford assistant coach.
Terry Thompson had a look. Ron Hale against Jai, who continues to play with a couple of fouls.
Well, see, that's great confidence that the coaching staff has in him, and confidence he has to have in himself. He got to play.
Thompson cannot convert. Jai board.
It's important that Terry Thompson can hit a jump shot. This Florida State club is last in field goal percentage from behind the arc, last in three-pointers made in the league. So they don't have a great outside game, but they're going to need it against Carolina.
Where they are solid is at the defensive end. A lot of effort there. Usually Cota slapping the glass. Lewis cannot get the ball to come out. Cota has his first 2 tonight.
Paul, you're so right that they are strong on the defensive end, but right now their defense is a little bit porous.
Hale over Archelasia. There you go, with a hand in his face.
That's a big hit. That's a needed basket for Florida State to open up the Carolina defense some.
The 6th man with his first try tonight. Now a foul. It may be on Vince Carter. Let's see. No, check it. It's Hale.
Well,
Terrell Baker. Pardon.
Baker comes in and gets the foul because we talk about Vince Carter on the wing. He is quick. He can put it on the floor. And nobody wants to be in the Vince Carter highlight film. So if he beats you, you just got to stand back and let him finish so you're not in the picture.
Cota has left the game. The bounce goes to Jamison. A rare miss. Jai was stripped and fouled by Corey Lewis.
We talked about offensive rebounding being a problem with Florida State. I saw them when they played against Georgia Tech, and they allowed Tech to get to the offensive boards repeatedly, and they are now allowing Carolina to get there. In ACC competition, Florida State has 59 offensive rebounds. The opposition has 93.
So the native of French-speaking Senegal, Maktar Jai with a deux-tiers confront here.
You are on.
2 free throws. Of course, Robinson now pitching here.
Well, he's trying to make sure that his player understands. Yes, it's a big lead. Yes, it's early in the game, but we have something that we practiced all week. We have a way of trying to beat this club. Let's not get out of character. Let's do what we can do.
He made 1 of 2. You were speaking French with Jai conversing tonight?
Yes.
Before the game?
Had a little Franco-Phillian encounter.
The early Wake Forest education. Gil McGregor on the wing. Lewis is 35 feet away from the hole. Jackson took his eyes off of him.
Carolina's forcing Florida State to work on the perimeter, and the Seminoles have to get down inside. Well, That'll help him do it. It's a second three for him.
Debonair Dees, the young sophomore. As Florida State settles down, converts the tray. It tightens up to 9. I say tightens up, 19-10.
And that is, and they are playing much better. And when you score, you can get back on defense a lot better.
Baker and Dees aggressive defensively, and Baker has his second foul. Be sure to check out the ACC.com, the official website of the ACC, for the latest scores, interesting insights into life in the ACC, and a chance to win tickets, get this, Gil, to the men's basketball tournament 1998 this spring. Compliments of our good friends at Nations Bank.
Some of the most valuable tickets in the country. I know everybody's talking about tomorrow's game as Vince Carter doesn't knock his first foul shot down, but when you talk about the ACC tournament, you talk about tickets to that tournament, everybody wants them, but everybody can't have them.
A warrior in the eyes of his coach, Bill Guthridge. Antoine Jameson. Cool glass of water and towels down. A win tonight for Bill Guthridge would be his 900th in his collegiate career as an assistant, and now a head coach in his first year here.
Lofty aspirations, and Carolina didn't knock the foul shots down.
Vince missed them both. You wonder if that ankle is bothering him, playing with a brace.
Good observation. It should at least impede him. The brace can't be comfortable.
Jackson, back. Williams doubles down and strips him 2-on-1. Odd man break. Williams behind the back. Okalaja.
Touch passing on the fast break by Carolina, ending in a highlight rim shaking dunk by Okalaja. Gets the crowd in it again.
On their feet in the Dean Dome. Debonair Dees. Florida State needs a bucket. That was tipped by John. They're running again.
And another turnover.
Williams lost it. And he goes hard into the front row of seats.
It's a classic 3-on-1 fast break because Okalaja, the big man, participating in the play. Now he comes along late. You don't see him, but here comes Okalaja. Oh, isn't that cute? Behind the back, and this is a finish. That's a flush, folks. That's how you do it. And Shaman is obviously happy. He's saying, yeah, baby, I'm serving it up, and you're putting it in.
The man with the blue mouthpiece, though, commits the, I wonder where you buy those, commits the first turnover of this game by the heels. Kareem Shabazz replaces Randall Jackson, who has been pulled twice in the first half by Florida State, and now they throw it away.
The fifth turnover. We talked about the turnovers being a big deal for Florida State. They've given away 5 times in less than 9 minutes.
Just about midway through our first half here. Okalaja called by his head coach our MVP this year, the junior from Berlin. He averages about 8 points a game. It's all the other things that he brings to this Carolina program, though, that makes him so valuable.
Well, he's a defender. He's a rebounder. He's the guy who gets the next pass. Now he gets the assist. The Carolina team passes the ball so well that it's very difficult to defend.
11 of the 23 by the heels belong to guess who? Antoine.
But look at Carolina's defense. It's an aggressive man-to-man. They don't do a lot of switching. You stay with your man. You get help if you need it, but you stay with your man.
Lewis to Shabazz, one of the best freshmen in the country, and he's badly off the mark with Jameson defending.
And again, Carolina getting out quick. Early offense, trying to get an early pin down if you can.
Well, pinning the arms. Come on. Terry Thompson commits the foul. The fourth by Steve Robinson, who already has the jacket off. His team struggling. We'll be back after this from Budweiser. Nations Bank, a corporate partner of the Atlantic Coast Conference, presents the Salute to Excellence question, Gil, which North Carolina forward became the 3rd player in ACC history to be named first-team all-conference in both his freshman and sophomore seasons. Log on to the internet address on your screen with the correct answer before our telecast tomorrow, and you will be entered for a chance to win those 2 tickets to the 1998 ACC men's basketball tournament. Compliments of Nations Bank. I'll have that answer for you in the second half. Randall Jackson has struggled in this game. He sits down again.
Yeah, I guess he didn't get the message the first time, but they really need him. He can't help them being on the bench. Now, you see those 9 North Carolina assists? They only have 10 buckets, so 9 of the 10 buckets have come as a result of an assist. Really means they're moving the ball around excellently.
Okalaja off the screen by Carter, goes to the glass.
Well, the defense that we talked about is so good for Florida State has to step up. Right now, it's not stopping Carolina from doing anything.
A 15-point spread. The largest of the game. Greer to carve into it for 3, missed. Cota with one hand the rebound. And he's busting it into the forecourt. Breaking down Kerry Thompson.
When you see the jump shot like that from Florida State, and the ball didn't go inside first and get kicked out, you're taking the jump shot because you think that's the best shot you can get.
Shaman deflected by Greer, claimed by Hale. Now let's see if Florida State can run. It's picked off.
You got to stop and you throw it away.
Cota with the numbers takes it right to the rack to draw the foul.
Steve Robinson, with his arms folded, has to get his players to slow down. The jump shot that they took that I talked about was a jump shot out of desperation to see Randall Jackson on the bench. They have to go back to basics and say, listen, we got a team that's a good team, second team in the nation. We got to use our opportunities to get on the foul line. Let's try to score with the clock stopped. Let's get it inside, kick it outside. Let's not just shoot the jump shot first. And then let's play a little bit better defense and try to hold on to the ball.
Okalaja departs. Akhtar Jai is in. And also minutes now for Brad Frederick. Junior from Lawrence, Kansas. Father is the athletic director at KU.
This is interesting to see him come in. You know, we've talked about the sixth-man rotation from Carolina because of the banged-up players they have. I wouldn't say injured, but banged up. You may see Coach Guthrie start to develop a seventh or eighth player now so that they can get some relief to the starters.
Well, his starters, they call them the Super Six. 3 of them shaken up at NC State.
Not in the zone now. In the zone now.
Lewis hammers it home over Akhtar Jai.
We talked about taking it inside if you're Florida State, get some scores down low. Now State's going to the zone.
Thompson deflected it. Jai scoops, throws it up, and finds no hole. 5 for Akhtar.
What Akhtar says, you get 2 points for the one I made, and you only get 2 for the one Corey made.
In the perimeter, Hale Pierce underneath. The last 2 came in the paint. That is Carolina's game. Florida State trying to take a page out of it right now. On the move, Hale dishes. Lewis, a tap by Shabazz. The freshman with his first 2.
Florida State getting back in it from the inside.
Carter for 3. How quick was that? The first points tonight for Vince, now 7 shy of 1,000 in his illustrious Carolina career.
He has so many skills. We talked at the top of the show. If we see him having a great game, we're going to see a show. That was his outside shooting skill we saw.
It's an 18-point spread. The lead mounts. Hale kicks it on. Thompson bounces. They have posted Lewis down there off the double down with his toes on the line. Well, they'll give him a 3.
But what they did, they went inside first and then kicked it out for the jump shot. And that's how you get a good look at the basket. They're playing better.
Jamison quickly shooting here. That was a little quick, wasn't it?
Well, he's made that shot. He's made that shot, and I think he wants to show the next level that he can shoot that shot.
Next level is not all that far away for this fabulous player. He could dominate up there, too. He has 11 already tonight. Got him early. Loose ball. 15 on the shot clock. Greer deflected by Carter. Jamison saves it, too. And he saves it to Hale. Hale short. And they'll count that as a goaltend.
But Carter had 2 opportunities to steal the basketball. Just hard work. Jamison working hard, too. You see Jamison, after Carter got his hand on it, Antoine is not leaving, folks, but he's just showing that this is effort. Take him out. If you want to sit in expensive seats, you have to pay the price. Pay it twice to get the seat, then what happens to you? Jai gets a goaltend here, but he shows he can get up.
Hale, the sophomore, credited with his 5th point tonight. 32-19. Frankly, we are stunned at this score, probably as much as the Seminoles. Bill Guthridge has to be surprised as well.
Well, I thought that Carolina might try to blow it out early and worry about them losing because they aren't the 6. You lose some effort if you try to knock this team out too soon. You can't throw all your haymakers in the first 2-3 rounds.
Hale for 3. That is short. Jamison scoops it ahead. Cota, the long feed Williams, never put it on the floor.
Man, you get up, too. Saman may be a jump shooter, but he got up.
7 for him. 7 of the 34 for the Heel.
Florida State has to slow this ball game down. They don't need to get into a possession field game. They need to slow it down so that there's not that many possessions.
They're going to exhaust the crowd here tonight.
Well, the crowd has got to break.
Have it on their feet throughout. It's a vengeful first half for Carolina. Second in all the land and playing like it here tonight.
And changing defenses is one thing that Carolina will do as you look at Maktar Jai. They go from man-to-man to zone, man-to-man to zone.
Maktar Jai has his third foul. Shammond Williams and Carolina has it all going on and leading big in our first half. Great Atlantic Coast Conference basketball tomorrow. Tech and NC State at 1 o'clock. Here on your Raycom JP Sports Station. Our score here is beat Florida State. Your team, dear, playing inspired this evening, 34-19.
Florida State probably will look to play a little more zone against Carolina because the Heels have gotten some real good looks inside.
Duke had a tough go of it in Charlottesville, but prevails. And Maryland gets another nationally ranked blow on its own floor. It beats both of these teams.
Oh, yes. Gary Williams always does a good job at home with the Terrapins.
Greer head fake twice. Wasn't that nice? And he goes to the bank.
Got in the lane. Took it down inside. And now with the Brendan Haywood on the floor because of Jai's 3 fouls, he's a freshman. You may want to attack him.
Backdoor cut. Williams from Coda.
He's got to go zone. The man-to-man is not working.
The guards dominating the Seminoles backcourt here tonight.
Well, they're picking them apart with passes and the turnovers.
Okalaja, we mentioned earlier, one of the best defenders, not only in the ACC, but in all the land, is not afraid, as Gill says, to get on the turf.
Well, he dives for it, and you see the great backdoor on the offense. Coda by himself, I mean, he was so wide open, he could have really mailed that one in.
And Coda, backcourt, question at the scorer's table. Shot clock right now showing being adjusted. It showed 35, and they're adjusting it here off this defensive effort by Okalaja.
Well, it's a great hands and quick feet reaction, and so it had to be adjusted. There had not been a shot to recycle it. 29 seconds on the clock.
Simmons, the ball thrown behind him. Run down by Greer, and now Thompson.
Carey's got to become offensively minded. He hasn't been scoring lately for this club, and they need his offense. He penetrated a lot last year, got the ball into the paint. He's not doing as much of it this season.
Randall Jackson on the floor again has yet to put the ball in the cylinder tonight. We've got 6.5 minutes to go in the first. Fadeaway turnaround here. That will not go. Jamison corrals it.
That's a hard shot. It's a tough shot. Fall-away jump shot. 12 feet with 2 people in your face.
Jamison boarding, even with sore left arm, after being leveled by Kenny Inge, as he was injured, and there he is again.
Tell you what, the Florida State's playing the man-to-man. You front Jamison, that's okay, but you've got to have some backdoor help.
Florida State's backcourt has been outscored, the guards, 16-6 in this game.
Well, and we talked about Kerry Thompson really needing to help his club. They need his offense.
Okalaja just took it away. Here's Williams. One-on-one against Thompson, illustrating our point. 11 for Shammond. Steve Robinson looking for answers will send in Kareem Shabazz.
He's trying to find somebody that can execute the offense, that can get a good shot. You have a possession and no shot, you have no chance to win.
Largest lead of the night, 19. Jackson held ball. It belongs to Carolina. Jamison forced the 8th turnover. And Robinson is livid with Zelton Steed, the official.
He's saying it's hot here in the Dean Dome. The team I'm playing is hot, and your calls are making me hot.
Graduate of Bradford, a member of that university's Hall of Fame. Indeed, a blueprint for the Florida State program is how they do things here in Carolina Blue Country.
Well, he was 7 years an assistant under Roy Williams, and that's Antoine again.
He keeps interrupting us.
I know he does. I mean, but every shot's a good shot, and that's important for young players to see. He doesn't take any shots that's not under control. He doesn't have a good look.
Lamar Greer missed. Okalaja could not hold on to it. His heels are doubling up Lamar Greer's Seminoles at 42-21.
I did not expect this type of distance this early.
Stay tuned at halftime for Bell South. You Call the Play feature. A look at the big plays from past Atlantic Coast Conference games. We look forward to that. We'll have all the highlights for you. The numbers, too, from 20 minutes of hoops.
10-0 points off turnovers, and yet another turnover by Florida State.
That figure could increase. Okalaja spinning on the baseline. It is a clinic, my friends, by Bill Guthridge's ball club, and it's timeout, Florida State at 20.
Well, this will be the 12th point off of the Seminole turnover, and the Seminoles have no points to show. That's 12-0 the difference, and that is just too much to give up on the road. And look at that shot. You take your time. All the Tar Heel players take their time when they shoot the shot, and more likely than not, they're taking good shots.
Steve Robinson's inside game, at least offensively, has deserted him.
Well, they're 9 of 21 from the field, and you add turnovers to these shots they didn't get.
Lewis, reverse slam. There you go. If there was a message passed in that 20-second lecture by Coach Robinson, Lewis was all ears. He has a board, too, and outlets to Greer at half court.
Times you see Florida State having an opportunity to get more than 2 points in succession. They haven't had many runs today. And another turnover.
Carter forced that, playing on a sore left leg, pushed Lamar Greer all the way into the North Carolina bench.
See, Carolina's only attempted 2 more shots than Florida State. There are 22 shots for Florida State, 24 for Carolina. But if you add the 10 turnovers, when Florida State didn't even get a chance to look at the basket, it would be a different game if they could handle the ball.
Junior Brad Frederick replacing the young freshman, Brendan Haywood. One of the reasons why North Carolina remains the top shooting team in the ACC.
But Florida State is 10 of 22. They're just under 50%. But they throw the ball away. They can't get shots.
Antoine Jamison working down low against the freshman Shabazz is 7 of 10 in the first half. Dakota to Shaman.
Florida State staying in the man-to-man.
And they'll reset. We near 10 on the shot clock. Less than 4 minutes to go in the first half, and Cota peers underneath, finds fence.
Ed Cota is picking Florida State's defense apart with the pass.
That's 8 assists for Ed Cota. That would be 35 in 2.5 games. Hale hesitated. He's lost his confidence. The pass to Williams. Showtime again between the legs. He'll shoot 2. What a pass by Carter. He got to be a quarterback. He was right on the money there.
Well, you talk about a Carolina club that once they get the rebound, they have one thing in mind: push it up court. They want to get into what's called an early offense. It's not necessarily a fast break as you look at Coach Guthridge, but the early offense is usually a play that's called before the defense can get back. And teams that run the early offense, it really makes it difficult. Vince Carter, invincible. Yeah, he's happy. He's happy.
Shaman Williams has now converted 33 consecutive free throws as the senior and one of the best in the nation at the line. In fact, he leads the Atlantic Coast Conference, chasing Jeff Lebo's record set a decade ago, one of the heel greats. He made them both. 13 for Shaman. 48-23. All smiles tonight here in Blue Heaven, Chapel Hill.
.321 left here in the first half in Chapel Hill. Vince Carter working really hard to give his club a 25-point lead, but I want you to watch him point behind and then roll in front. You screen, you lock out, you lay it down. He's 5 points away from 1,000 and just dominating this ball game.
It would mark the 7th time in North Carolina's storied history that they had 3 players that were 1,000-point scorers on the same squad. Shamond Williams and Antoine Jameson have already reached the millennium.
I wonder where the computers prepared for this when it switched over.
Just glad I wrote down millennium so I remember that word. Here's Dees all alone. You got to hit that one, and he does. Debonair Dees, who just became eligible at the start of the winter semester with his second tray, his 6th point of this game. Cota dishes at the last moment to Jameson, and it teeters and falls off.
If you got a bucket, you got to stop. Now, Florida State, get another good look. I don't know if that's it.
Too quick.
Don't know if that's
top of the backboard.
See, you know, you have to understand where you are and what you're doing. Now, you're in Chapel Hill. You're
pretty basic, right?
Yeah, you're playing against the Carolina Tar Heels. They're #2 in the nation. You make a three, you get a stop. Now, call a good play. Don't give them the ball right back.
Steve Robinson was so impressed, too, with his team. He said with the maturity they had displayed in doing just that, in blowing out Wake Forest 2 nights ago, winning by 24. Cota, what a soft rim that was.
You see, I've been in Chapel Hill trying to play basketball against the Carolina club. It's not the same when you come down here. You got to be prepared because you got the crowd to play against, you got the tradition to play against, you got the system to play against, and the talent to play against.
I said it was Cota Shamond Williams, of course, as Steve Robinson continues his slow burn. First the coat came off, now the tie's undone.
Got a pretty good grimace going, too.
Florida State will run the offense 2 and change away from intermission. Ron Thompson off the bench. They are 9 deep for the Seminoles. Desperate for any combination. Baker with the chance at the 3-point play. Antoine Jameson whistled on the foul. His first.
One of the few offensive rebounds we've seen Florida State gather in.
It takes their leading scorer in Terrell Baker 17 minutes and 58 seconds to put the ball in the bucket. His first 2 tonight. The announcers for this game are selected and compensated by Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports. Any use of this broadcast without their express permission is prohibited. The junior college transfer in Baker at the strike.
You talk about your leading scorer taking 17 minutes to get some points for you. That's tough because who do you follow? Florida State's got to get some leadership out on the court. I thought it was Kerry Thompson, but Baker's going to have to step up. Somebody's got to give them a hope factor in this game.
Score's looking ugly right now. The dump inside Jameson. Rolls around, will not fall for him. Okalaja grabs the ball, stripped. Baker hands it off to Dees. Dees blows it into the forecourt on the left side. He's going the distance. Offline, he thought it was a foul. You heard him scream. Carter. Seeing is believing.
Welcome back, Carter. This is a great kick out. Now, I want you just to watch it, folks. I got nothing to say. Scotty, beat me up.
Carter now just 3 shy of 1,000. Coach Bill Guthridge said he was a highlight reel when he arrived. Now he's a more complete player. In the eyes of many, he's one of the top 10 performers in all of college basketball.
I tell you what, if I'm on a fast break with him and they take the picture, I'm not going to be in it. I'll just stand back. You know, he's not going to embarrass me on national television anywhere.
Goodness gracious. A 25-point spread. Top of the key. In and out for Baker. A disastrous first 20 minutes for Terrell. And his Seminoles deflected here. Kerry Thompson, 60 seconds to play. Thompson into the lane. Feeds. Ron Thompson lost the ball. And belongs to Carolina.
Hayward's got a block ball.
Cota changing speeds. Deal. Jameson. Got it. If it was close in Tallahassee at Christmas time, it won't be tonight. Not at this rate.
And you see the excitement of the Carolina players as they give the ball up. I want you to watch the reaction after the bucket. The bucket is scored. It's a fine bucket. But the guys seem more happy that the pass was made and that the play was completed. This is unselfish basketball at its best, and that's why this club is such a good team.
17 for Antoine, and now 18. in Raleigh, 18 tonight.
And he's got another half to play. Okay.
Maybe the ACC Player of the Week we would anticipate for a 9th time. Only Tim Duncan and David Thompson earned that honor more in their careers. With the numbers, Cota. Off the glass, too strong. Jamison.
Now, you see off the glass too strong. He missed it purposely because he knew the big guys were coming. He knew Jamison was coming, and he threw it off the backboard. That was basically a pass and not a shot.
It's 30 at intermission. Thompson with the left hand. Again at the horn. Listen to the ovation for the heel. This is not Mr. Robinson's neighborhood. His very first trip to Chapel Hill, the first 20 minutes, most forgettable. How can Florida State turn it around? How can North Carolina play any better? 58-28, halftime just ahead.
ACC basketball is brought to you by Dodge, by BP, by Bell South, and by Buick.
20 minutes of basketball lying in store. Our second half begins as you join us this evening in the Dean Smith Center, the Dean Dome. Florida State obviously stunned. Gil, this is a Seminoles squad that has already defeated the defending national champion Arizona, topped Big East bellwether Connecticut, and played Kansas tough before falling in the championship game of the preseason NIT, and they've already played North Carolina within 8 this year. Yeah, nothing is going right.
It's a good club that he's not playing the defense they're capable of, and their offense isn't clicking either. And if you are 0 for 2 in those categories, on the road it's hard to win.
Jamison picking up where he left off.
Every shot he takes looks like a good shot. It looks like an easy shot. It looks like a makeable shot, and he's making it.
He sure is. Tough to miss. And you're right there, 22 for Antoine Jamison. Seminoles can do little to stop him. The bounce inside. Randall Jackson scores for the first time tonight. Wow.
You can know that Florida State is in trouble if Randall Jackson hasn't scored, if Terry Thompson isn't getting it out there.
4-3, draining it. Shaman Williams with 19. His third tray of this basketball game.
But what Florida State has hung its hat upon all season long has been its defense. It has been non-existent tonight against Carolina.
Greer off the kick out is double teamed. Alone Baker off the heel and into the arms of Cota with numbers behind the back around Baker again. And the trail official finally says, Baker, you're tackling him. The field goal percentage this evening for Florida State, abysmal, especially in comparison to their last 2 outings over Georgia Tech and most recently Wake Forest Thursday.
Well, you would look at the shooting percentage from Carolina, but you need to look at the defensive percentage that Carolina has put up against Florida State tonight. So their defense has been as good as their offense.
The third foul on Baker, first of this half. Terry Thompson unable to save the basketball, and you have to ask yourself, how much gas in the tank does Steve Robinson Seminoles have? They played Sunday against Georgia Tech in Atlanta, won, faced Wake on their home floor 2 nights ago, arrived here in Chapel Hill at the stroke of midnight on their charter plane.
That's a very good observation, Paul, and you know, in games every team has a run or 2 within them, but if you can't catch up with that first run, is there anything left in the second run, they may already be tired.
John. Oh. To the bottom of the sack.
It's easy shots. It's bon. It's good one. But you get the ball inside as easily as Carolina is getting it, the shots become a lot easier. Florida State's got to defend the pass a lot better than they're doing right now. Not the shot, but the pass.
And just keep grinding. Keep trying to get better with every possession. Second half of the conference schedule begins after tonight for the Seminoles. Cota with the board. Cota bounces on the feet. Okalaja tried to dish to Jamison. Seminole hands in the way. Terry Thompson touched it last.
That was a great play by Ed Cota. He's under control all the way. Eyes up. This is a nice bounce pass between 2 defenders. The bounce pass is almost a lost art, but Ed Cota does put the ball on the floor.
How's
Look
that
at the
for a
number of
ratio?
assists. That is great. That is just great. 38 assists last 2 games. You want to play with the guys who's going to give it to you.
Williams to Jamison as Carolina continues to build on its lead. Right now at 35. Not climbing. Okalaja taken off by Corey Lewis. Thompson to Greer. Lamar Greer's the talent. They feed it back to him. He has a 3 and a good look.
But he got the good look because the ball went inside first. Carolina doubled down on the passing side, and you get a good look.
Maktar-Jai wants to take a 3. Everybody's a gunner at this point in the game.
Well, and you want to be careful of that. You got to stay within the confines of what you normally do, despite having a big lead.
Carolina fans will long remember as Jackson misses here. 5 years ago, almost to the day. 1993, FSU built that 21-point lead before Carolina came roaring back to win. 82-77, went on to win the national championship. It's one of the great wins here. The block by Jai, wags his finger, Jamison finishes.
Well, you make a good play, and then the Hills make you pay for it. Jamison was blocked earlier and never got down for it. They call it cherry picking on the playground.
2 dozen for the cherry picker. And the 6'9" junior from Charlotte. No sign of back spasms this evening.
Oh, no, not at all. Scoring heals all wounds.
So does winning. This would be the 20th of the season for North Carolina. They're 6th in league play. They're 3rd in a row. They'll be 8-0 on their home floor. Lewis in the paint of the lane. A rare field goal.
Well, you know, we saw pretty good shooting percentage by Florida State to start the ball game. When they took good shots, they made them.
Okalaja, not a good shot. That's another 3. The big men are had their numbers at the moment.
We're seeing more jump shots, hurried jump shots from Carolina in the first 4 or 5 minutes that we saw in all and a half.
Maktar-Jai just had a technical foul. He picked up his 4th foul, and now the technical.
Oh, technical foul counts as a personal also.
That would be 5 on Jai if the technical counts as a personal, and he is done for the game.
Wow.
Quickly, Maktar-Jai with a blemish tonight. One of the few for Carolina in this game.
Well, it started with that 3-point jump shot you talked about. You get out of character. You cannot get out of character because things like this happen. He's upset.
Lost his temper. He fouls out for a team-high 5th time this season.
You're having too much fun in a game like this. You want to stay in this game. You know you're going to get a highlight opportunity eventually with Dakota passing the ball that's the way he's doing.
Baker made 1 of 2. Florida State will own the ball. Maktar-Jai has exploded verbally. His team already on the scoreboard. 15.5 to go. Atlantic Coast Conference basketball is brought to you in part by Amoco. The Dean Dome hour setting, a livid Maktar-Jai with his 4th foul and a technical that adds up to number 5.
Well, you know, Paul, he's got to say those things in French. If he says them in French, maybe he doesn't get kicked out of the game, but there's a rule. You can use words that end in ing, but don't use any words that end in er.
Spoken like the ACC and professional hoops veteran that you are, Gil. Alongside Gil McGregor, I'm Paul Kennedy. Rob Reichley, our producer tonight. Lonnie Dale, our director, at the controls from all of us. Long day at the shop for Florida State. A wonderful evening if you are a Tar Heel fan. Corey Lewis surrounded by heels. To Thompson. Contact. Ruled a block by Jamison. Corralled by the Tar Heels. It just continued.
Well, the interior defense by Carolina is very strong, and outside shooting by Florida State has been poor.
The big men continue to throw up 3s.
That's strange a little bit.
Yeah, it is. Running the end line. The man with 19 against Wake. Randall Jackson, this time with an assist to Kerry Thompson.
Finally, Kerry Thompson gets a good look and does something positive for Florida State.
The crowd stirs a bit, screaming, raiding his club. Steve Robinson trying to get him to come.
When he is on his game, it is a show. We talked about it, and he told me he would do it, and folks, he just broke you off a little something.
12 assists as well for Cota. Vince now with 999 career points. Corey Lewis this evening with a dozen. Very quiet dozen. Does Vince get him here? This is Okalaja. He went in there strong, and Lewis committed the foul. Here again, Cota with the lob.
It's pretty.
You need earplugs. He even leaves his team in disbelief.
Yeah, well, this is like the elevator man, the high riser, beam me up, Scotty. Anything you want to say, he is just a highlight waiting to happen.
Okalaja with the free throw. Vince Carter turns 21 on Monday. 21st birthday. What a future. The comparisons continue. Michael Jordan, one of 5 jerseys retired, make that 6 in the rafters above us. One of 33 honored high above the Dean Smith Center.
You know, Vince is a little bigger, stronger than Michael was in college this stage of his career. And Michael didn't display some of the air antics that we see him displaying now at the NBA level in Carolina. It was a little more of a stage game that they played in Chapel Hill back then.
He will be playing for a long time. And again, his next field goal, his next free throw, takes him to the 1,000-point mark. Jamison had to come back to him. Corey Lewis continues to play hard at both ends of the floor for Florida State.
This is Florida State's perimeter game hasn't done very much to help them tonight.
But you have to admire the way Lewis has remained focused.
Yes.
Greer on the move. Strip. And again, Cota. You take it in there, you're going to pay a price. Shaman feeds. Jamison intercepted. Carter missed the tip. Jamison went down, still on the floor. Okalaja feeds. Cota underneath. There's Vince. He's back.
I mean, and Cota's looking for him. Carter on one block and Jamison on the other block has just proven to be too much all night for Florida State, and other than one time this year, too much for everybody else too.
The freshman, Kareem Shabazz, with the foul, and now all eyes on Vince. This for his 1,000th career point at North Carolina.
It's in there. It's in there.
He becomes the third heel on this squad with Shaman Williams and Antoine Jamison to reach the millennia, and does it in a very quiet way for a most dramatic performance.
Well, that part was quiet, but the one before wasn't.
You need earplugs with Vince. He made them both.
Invincible.
And so is Carolina on this night. Look at the score, 71-37. Cota was fouled. On the floor, they'll rule, rather than going up.
Oh, well, Cota tried to shoot it, though. He is so smart. Cota tried to throw the ball in the air to draw a shooting foul. And that's what Coach Gutcher is saying. He was in the act of shooting. He wants him to get to the line.
Bill Guthrie, usually very quiet, vocal. Steve Robinson, who's been most vocal, now just grinning and bearing it, staring and bearing it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. There's not a lot you can say. You just want you guys to keep playing.
Ron Hare with his third personal. It's all academic at the 13-point mark. Here's Vince again. Will it go?
Yeah, folks, we talked about it at the top of the show. You see a lot of players have good nights, and whether you pull from Virginia or you pull for State, you want to see C.C. Harrison, you want to see Staples, but what we're seeing is an outstanding talent having a big night. Vince Carter draws the arm and makes the hoop. See right here, he gets the hit on the arm, waits for it, shoots it softly, and gets the roll.
And the three-point play. Vince with 14.
This 14 looks like 25.
74-37. The Tar Heels doubling up. Stunned Florida State. An ACC shocker tonight along Tobacco Road.
Doubled here in Chapel Hill, and you see Vince Carter doing his thing. He draws the foul, shoots it softly, it falls in, and you see he's happy with that move.
On his 1,000-point night, Jamison already over that plateau. One of the great tradition-rich programs in all the land. And tonight combining, as you see, for 38. 38 of the 74 produced by second-ranked North Carolina. Well, the Noles throw it away.
Jameson and Carter have outscored Florida State. They have 38. Florida State has 37.
Very good point there, man.
Hey,
you're right.
I'm here for you.
The lead-in jam is shot. It would not go. Just swooned off the rim from Antoine Jameson. The highest scoring average since Charlie Scott.
Oh,
Antoine Jameson.
Now you're going way back. Now you're going back my time.
You got a chance to bang around with Charlie Scott, did you?
Charlie Scott was one of the best players to ever play in anybody's league. At 6'5", a two-guard back in the mid-60s, it was unheard of. And he came to Carolina and set a standard that I certainly say a lot of players have lived up to, but he set it.
There he is. 30 years ago when he was
Scott.
there.
Bill Chamberlain, I knew him. Larry Miller, I didn't play against Larry Miller. I don't care what anybody says. Bobby Lewis, J.R. Reed.
The criteria for those jerseys, you have to be, of course, an MVP of a national championship team. Rattles around, will not go. Brendan Haywood, no. And Baker. An MVP of a national championship team, have won an Olympic gold medal or been one of the top 10 players in all the land.
That's to get your jersey hung. But you want to get it retired, you got to be the top player in the nation to get it retired. Only one.
Bill Ford, the three-time All-American, sits, of course, on the Carolina bench. He coaches the JVs, who won today. Preliminary game against Meredith. Jameson with the block shot of Shabazz. Shazam, it's Antoine. Against Shabazz again. Working left, working right. Contact, he traveled. The veteran makes the kid pay.
Antoine Jameson showing what it is to be Antoine Jameson. Makes a great block, and then he holds a good defensive position. First, you see the great block. There's the block. And then you just hold the position and force the turnover. Yet another turnover for Florida State. Jameson playing the good D as well as the great offense.
He did it all, does Antoine. Shaman. Antoine, and now Vince for a tray. And banged off the iron, Lewis. And here comes Kerry Thompson. Thompson crossover against Shaman. Oh, offensive foul. Out of control, drawing the charge, Sir Vince.
You know, when you're up by 27 points or 37 points and you draw a charge, it says something about you as a player because you don't need to draw a charge right now.
In the year 1 AD in North Carolina, after Dean, Bill Guthridge is going to pick up that 20th win here this evening. Jameson with contact, rejected. Lewis and Carter for three. Love the feed inside. His second triple of this game. 17 for Vince.
Now, your Florida State, this game, although you're still playing this game, now becomes not what you're thinking about. You just want to work on your stuff. You got other games to play in the ACC. You want to work on your stuff and stay solid.
They all count one.
That's exactly right. You don't want to lose 2 games because you lose to Carolina and Chapel Hill. Many people have done.
Caught in the Malaja. The behind the back feed, magnificent. His 12th assist of this game. My goodness, behind the back.
Ed Cota has been playing a tremendous game, getting his teammates involved. You know he's going to get the ball.
Ron Thompson, Baker took his eyes off of it. They double on him. Off to Lewis, 30 feet away from the hole.
No dribble drive penetration by Florida State. They aren't getting into the lane hardly at all.
Double clutched, air ball. And he still had 8 seconds on the shot clock. And it's a nightmare for Steve Robinson.
Well, this is a zip Coda, and he finds Okulaja home for the bucket. You bring it down, you give it up, your big guys will continue to run if you do.
Baker departs. Terrell with just 3 points tonight. He and Randall Jackson, a total of 5 for Florida State. A spent basketball club, perhaps, playing their 3rd ACC game in 7 nights. And they look like it. And all the effort comes in Carolina blue. Travel. A tough call. But the hustle from North Carolina. Cota, Williams, and that man, and Odamola Okalaja.
He's on the floor all the time, and he's always diving after loose ball. Always.
Dees. He and Cota played together. Debonair Dees and Cota, you see him scoring off now. Thomas More Academy. Their prep days. Teammates. In fact, Dees was the point guard. Cota played the two.
Nice double down defense, Carolina.
Kyle Mulligan off to Greer. Greer finally gets a bucket here.
Good finish by Lamar Greer. And if you're Florida State now, they're going to a little bit of a zone. Keep playing.
Shaman is continuing to play his fourth three-point field goal of this game. 22.
Everything's working for Carolina. Doesn't matter what it is, it's working.
82-39. An embarrassing performance for Florida State here. Kyle Mulligan intercepted by Cota. The run out Shaman. The starters remain in, and he couldn't run it down. Now Shaman is arguing that he was held by Dees.
Or at least interfered with. A little bump and run that time by Dees.
Cota will depart. 13 assists, a standing ovation.
A little bump by Dees right there. Held off a little bit, just enough to stop Shaman from getting to the ball.
And the Dean Dome rocks for Antoine Jamison. Mr. Inside and the great guard, Cota and Jamison. Isn't Cota so much like Phil Ford?
Yes, he is. He reminds you of him physically.
That was on the sideline. And how about Jamison? His field goal percentage, outstanding, leading the league. His rebounding, the best since the other half of that Phil Ford combination, Mitch Kupchak, bicentennial year of '76.
When you talk about players who played here, and you look at one of the great ones, it's Phil Ford.
He had more hair then.
Yeah, well, somebody told me, and I don't know if Coach Smith would admit this, but Dean Smith said had he been a basketball player at the level he would have wanted to be, he would have been Phil Ford. That's how much respect he had for his court general that ran his offense so well.
Ron Thompson tapped out by Mulligan. Kyle Mulligan with the bandage over his eye to show you the kind of tough week he's had. Caught an elbow, and then yesterday at practice, opened him up again. Cota, in fact, has more assists in this his sophomore year than Phil Ford did in his first 2 years.
Well, that's a great average, 7.4 game. But, you know, Phil Ford, he had a good team, but he didn't have Jamison and Carter to throw it to. See, that helps you have good assists.
He had Walter. Walter Davis was here.
He had some good play. Now,
remember those blue canvas high tops?
Oh, yeah, that was another day and another time. Chuck somebody.
Lace them up. Remember those days over at Carmichael, just down the road a bit. The students, by the way, were lined up a good mile and a half yesterday in the rain to pick up their tickets for the impending showdown with the Duke University Blue Devils.
Well, you talk about a conference that has #1 and #2 and have had them most of the season. It's just another tribute to the Atlantic Coast Conference. And it's just a great conference.
Carter!
No. Oh, no. Oh, no.
3/4 court from Shaman. 19 for Vince.
I'm convinced Carter can rise, baby.
A foul on North Carolina's Brian Versticker, but this crowd, which has been on its feet throughout the night, has another breathtaking play from the fabulous junior and Vince Carter. Shaman Williams in the role of Cota. Lobs 3/4 court. 4 after this from Budweiser. Our Amoco play of this game, Vince Carter, invincible.
Could have had him into several others, but this one got it started. And this is another one of those fantastic finishes for Vince Carter. The crowd is in it, and Vince is in it. Just ease on down the road, baby.
As Gomer used to say to Sergeant Carter, golly.
Yeah, well, this is RFD. Some really flying dunks. That's what you got with Carter.
Oh, and if you are Florida State, just hang in there, baby. You've got the Wolfpack on Wednesday, and that'll balance us out if you can win.
Yeah, you don't play this game. You play your game for the next game. You're exactly right, Paul. This has been a catastrophe. It's been Maybe you can blame it on El Nino. I don't know. But you got to prepare for another game.
Steve Robinson, a moment ago, in exhaustion, right back over his chair, flanked by Coleman Crawford and Jim Platt, his two top assistants. Not much you can do on a night like this.
You know, he put his coat back on.
Yeah. He just wants to get out of here. They'll be on that charter tonight as quick as they can get changed.
So you don't, no injuries, and you just get out of here. That's all you do.
84-41, finally to 40. The bucket by Corey Lewis now with 14 points. Here's Michael Brooker, the redshirt freshman on the floor. Everyone will play tonight, we anticipate, for Bill Guthridge in what will be his 900th career win as an assistant and as a head coach. He was an assistant for 7 years, we'll remind you, for Tex Winter at K-State, his alma mater.
Well, you know, you jive fouls out, but you get your other 5 starters out, and you try to develop some playing time for some of your bench people.
Brian Versticker bounces it out to Max Owens. Max, another freshman, to Versticker, off to Owens, the quick look and release. His 3 tonight knocks it home. And Bill Guthridge off the bench to compliment Versticker on the pass.
And we've heard that Owens has been working his way into the number 8 position of players on the Carolina club. And for these young men from Florida State, you keep your head up. People come into Carolina and lose all the time. For the young players in Carolina, you impress the coach so you can get some more minutes earlier.
And if Florida State doesn't remain focused, this could be 50 in a hurry. Randall Jackson blocked by the 7-foot freshman, Brendan Haywood. He is a load. He's close to 300 pounds, is Brendan Haywood. Hey, here's a great way to begin your Super Sunday. The Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech against the Wolfpack of NC State. And then February 5th, #1 Duke, North Carolina, and Antoine Jamison say, hey, we want to be #1. They'll have a lot to say about it on our Raycom Jefferson Pilot game. Hey, tomorrow, the Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes.
Now, we got to do our analysis of the skill. Who do you like, the Packers or the Broncos?
Well, you told me something that's going to have to make me lean towards the Packers now, Carl. I have to admit, you swayed me.
Well, the Packers have more ACC performers on their roster. They have 5 in all, 2 from Carolina. William Henderson will be starting at fullback, and Bernardo Harris at linebacker. Florida State has but 1 in green and gold. That's Leroy Butler, the outstanding corner. Owens with the 3 a moment ago. Good head fake. Can't get it to fall Baker's skies. For the Denver Broncos, they have 1 Florida State player, none from Chapel Hill. 3 ACC players in all. Didrik Dodd is reserve safety for Denver. So, if you add up the ACC talent, it's got to be the Pack.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Sounds very logical to me. For 3, missing Terrence Newby. And now this is just up and down the floor. Baker against Newby. Quick bounce to the post. Randall hemmed in by Versticker. Threw it to Haywood. And fouled by Lewis. For Randall Jackson. What a frustrating night this has been. Horrific for Steve Robinson, that is one of his top performers, his best all-round player in Randall, who had 22 against Georgia Tech Sunday and 19 against the Demon Deacons Thursday, has but 1 field goal in this contest.
Been averaging 18 points a game over the last 4, and this just wasn't his night, nor his teammates' night, nor his coach's night. And so you see Coach Robinson just taking him out and saying, hey, Randall, let's just call this a night. Now, as you see the face of Coach Robinson, he is studying the situation. Tonight's over. But what you want to do is go back and talk to your guys about what they did well and what they have to work on. Ball handling still has to be a concern. Early in the game, the shooting percentage wasn't bad. At one time, it was approaching 50%, but they had turned the ball over so many times that they didn't get opportunities to even execute. That has to be a problem for this club.
Brendan Haywood's 2 free throws by the freshman leaves the Heels 1 digit shy of 90.
And Kerry Thompson, who gave the ball up to Corey Lewis and didn't move, we thought, I got to make some movement. He's the guy that's going to have to get this club back in, and he's their leader. Last year, he was one of the tougher players in the conference.
Brooker will take the 3, and off the heel comes up to Thompson. Thompson with less than 5 to go. Versticker poked at it into Newby. Terrence Newby against Corey Lewis. Off the glass, rolls across the iron. Haywood up strong is fouled. They'll return to the stripe for 2.
Bursticker stole the ball from Thompson. You can't have that. Now, this is what the tradition, the system, and the talent is about. Here are the guys who are the stars of this club standing on their feet, pulling for their teammates on the floor. There's something very positive about that. There's something that is contagious about supporting your teammates. That's what makes it so tough to come to Carolina and win.
Haywood drains his 3rd free throw. Returning is Ron Thompson, a young freshman for Florida State. Out will go Terrell Baker. Kerry Thompson will get a breather. It just wasn't to be tonight, not when Vince Carter was going to play at this level. He and Okalaja above the rim throughout the night. Well, you could say Vince was above the rim, Okalaja was on the floor.
You're exactly right. Coder was on target with all of his passes. Jamison worked hard, got easy shots down low. It's just a complete night for the Carolina club.
Brendan Haywood has a wonderful future lying in store. He departs. Brad Frederick, the junior from Lawrence, Kansas, returns. Bursticker, Booker, Owens out there, along with Terrence Newby, the sophomore for Carolina. Here's Kyle Mulligan to Debonair Dees. Dees looking for Shabazz against Bursticker. Kicks it back to him into the lane. Kyle Mulligan, it's blocked. Blocked by Owen. And again, Guthridge is looking for players to step up in practice, as you mentioned earlier, and in these waning moments and show him something.
Well, if you show it to him defensively, you'll get to play. For all young players, and I'll tell you this, at every level of basketball, the best defender and the best rebounder play. They don't necessarily start, but they will play. So if you don't have a great jump shot and you're not fancy with the ball handling, learn to be a good defender, learn to hit the boards, and you'll get some time.
Carolina in the 90s, Florida State. Debonair Dees jumper, that's 44. Booker to the end line, Bursticker.
It's another great pass, another great dribble penetration, and you give it to a teammate and a good finish.
The freshman from Virginia Beach, Kempsville High School, where J.R. Reed started before coming here.
Yeah.
Florida State's in danger of failing to reach 50. Dees was tied up by Owens, dumped it in the corner. Thompson was deep.
And if they don't reach 50, they still need to be talked to that the final score is not the problem.
Greer stops at the free throw line in his 15-footer, shot at about 17. Owens 3-on-1 break. Owens deals, and Newby lays it home.
See, well, this is your problem. Shabazz didn't get back, didn't hustle back. You've got to have some consistency in your effort and your execution, even if it doesn't work. I'm sure if anything Coach Robinson's not going to feel good about is that. You'll see him make a substitution for a guy that didn't run the floor.
Without a doubt, considering the level of talent that arrived from Tallahassee, this is the most dominant performance in ACC play by North Carolina in years. Shabazz hung on the rim as Bursticker he thought was undercutting him. But it has been thoroughly and dominatingly a North Carolina night.
Well, Shabazz is also frustrated because of tonight. He gets a step, so he dunks it. Kind of goes over the head of Bursticker, but I think it's more of a statement of his frustration in tonight's ball game than anything else.
He was not called for the technical foul. Owens departs. Bursticker picks up his first. This is a guy who admires Ty Cobb, his favorite athlete, so he's not going to back down from too many people.
I must have read about it in history book. I mean, that's interesting. Ty Cobb.
Shabazz with the three-point play. 5 for the 7'2" freshman. Too little, too late, and a Tar Heel blowout. Another look at our Nations Bank ACC salute. The excellence question, which North Carolina Ford became the 3rd player in ACC history to be named the first team all-conference in both his freshman and sophomore seasons. The answer, Antoine Jamison. You know who the other 2 were, Gil?
Let's see, Joe Smith.
Uh-huh.
And Kenny Anderson.
Out of Georgia Tech. You peaked. Had it right here on the card. It continues. Terrence Newby back on the floor. Gives him a noogie.
Their reading is a good skill to acquire if you're going to do this.
You need that at Wake, at Carolina, and at Florida State. A 50-point blowout. We're talking about Florida State here, who Bill Guthridge, on the night in which he earns his 900th win as part of a Division I program, said that the Seminoles had the best talent outside of Duke and his heels, if he may be so presumptuous, flanked, as you see, by Dave Hanners and Phil Ford.
900 times you are the winning team. It gets to be a good habit to be a part of. And you know, you talk about the game at NC State where the Carolina players were nicked up a little bit. I think it maybe helped them focus. They didn't practice Thursday after that game on Wednesday. They did on Friday and didn't shoot around today, but they focused on what they had to do and they got it done.
Scott Williams with the assist to Terrence Newby. Newby gets the bucket. Scott Williams gets the assist.
And Carolina hits 100, and the crowd shows their appreciation for the Century Mark.
Scott Williams, number 22, defending Debonair D's, cutting through Ron Thompson with the wrong hand. It's spun out. With the basketball here, Scott, the son of Roy Williams, who of course was Steve Robinson's mentor, and every time he touches the ball, they want him to shoot.
Couldn't get any run in Kansas.
Look at take the shot. Come on, Scott. Sets the screen, Newby. They might run this clock down until he gets it again. First stick swirled out on him. 1 minute and 15 to go. So for North Carolina, their next outing. Give me that. As it finally goes. Got it.
Debonair D's.
That'll be 49 for his club, 10 for D's in double figures. He's coming up. Carolina on the horizon. Will be hard-pressed to play as well as they did tonight. Clemson has never won here in Chapel Hill. That is, as in never. Never, ever,
Which
ever.
is a long, long time, no matter how you look at it.
Ain't no how, ain't no way, as they said in The Wizard of Oz. And over 50 now. D's with the three-point play.
Carolina still has a doubled score as you look at Coach Robinson, and it's just one of those games that he'll want to forget, and in fact you'll have to forget it because the ACC doesn't let you lick your wounds, and you got another game to play. You got to get ready for it.
Might be bad timing on the part of NC State. Wolfpack fans watching tonight. You'll have a game tomorrow. Williams just threw it up there, and it hit everything but the rim, including the shot clock. But I say this, Steve Robinson will have Florida State on its home court very fired up. Well,
you got a video, a film to show your team of a lot of things that didn't go right, so you don't have to talk to them too much. 5-second closely guarded rule that was reinstated for this ACC season. So a good defense by Carolina and another turnover for Florida State.
Scott Williams promoted off the junior varsity squad. And he has the ball here against Matt Kolovic, another Madden Scholarship performer. He drives on Kolovic to draw the foul. Now the basket will not count. I don't know if Vince Carter jumped higher when he slammed the ball through, or they're thinking Williams may have scored.
Well, it is still really gratifying to see how honest all these guys support each other and pull for each other.
Williams has not scored this year.
But now they're trying to get the crowd. They're trying to get the crowd to calm down.
He will be the last Tar Heel to score if he can. He's 0 for 2 at the line. Come on, says Carter. Make this Highway 101.
So at least there's some drama in the game finally.
Well, the round will not go. Well, he had his chance.
Maybe next time.
The insult to injury for Steve Robinson, salt in the wound. Have your mentor's son stick it to you like that. Across the rim, Mulligan, Shabazz, and count it. Kareem Shabazz will return to the stripe. His Verstiger, mouthpiece and all, commits the foul with 22.5 ticks of the clock remaining. And then this one is over. Carolina will have recorded for an unprecedented 28th consecutive season.
And Shabazz,
20th win.
Shabazz playing hard as you look at the Florida State bench and Kerry Thompson. But you encourage that. You say, look, young man, you got a lot of games to play for Florida State. Just play them hard.
One final trip for the Tar Heels across the timeline. This will be their 6th win. Williams. It goes!
Well, you got Jamon Williams, and this is the other Williams, Scotty Williams, kissing it off the backboard. His first points for the season as a Tar Heel. The last man standing not to score, and he gets a three-point play.
Pandemonium in the Ding Dong off the family tree. The center boy, Shaban at the horn, misses. The other Thompson lays it in. It'll count, and that'll do it. The first 9 scored tonight by Bill Guthridge, who wins for the 900th time, annihilating Florida State. 103 to 55. Scott Williams caps it off on a night in which, indeed, the Tar Heels were true blue at home.
ACC basketball was brought to you by Budweiser, by Advance Auto Parts, by Food Lion, by Pepsi, by Nationwide Insurance, and by Nations Bank.
North Carolina eked out an 8-point win back in the Christmas holidays in Tallahassee. Tonight, 48 points the spread. 103 to 55, and it was a Florida native, the former Mr. Basketball in the Sunshine State. Our player of the game for North Carolina, Corey Lewis, a solid effort inside and a losing effort with 14 as well. Alongside Gil McGregor, Paul Kennedy welcoming you back. What an impressive performance by North Carolina tonight.
Well, they get 20 wins again. That's 28 consecutive years they've done that. That is some kind of basketball, but it's called because of TST. Tradition, a system, plus talent. That's how you get those wins.
Steve Robinson sits here and watches as North Carolina posts its 28th consecutive year, 20 or more. His counterpart, Bill Guthridge, with his 900th win as an assistant coach in this, his first year in Carolina, now second in the nation, ready to face Clemson, a team which has never won here in this building.
Well, it'll be a daunting task for Clemson, particularly if they run into a Carolina team that played as it did tonight. 1,000th point for Vince Carter, our star of the game, the 900th victory, just on, and Carolina played almost a flawless game of basketball.
Ed Cota with 13 assists. He was fabulous, as was Antoine Jameson, and for Florida State, they can do little but regroup. They have the Wolfpack of NC State on Wednesday. We check out the Atlantic Coast Conference standings here at the midway point, and you see Duke, the only team unbeaten in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
And that's a strong place to be. Carolina with only 1 loss, and Maryland getting a big win today. But you see the last 4 or 5 teams, Florida State included, they got to turn their fortunes around if they want to be in good standing during the ACC tournament.
Florida State has played the toughest schedule in all the nation, certainly in all the ACC. This was the 4th time this year they have faced either the 1st or 2nd ranked team in America, and it looks as if Robinson's team playing their 3rd game this week in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Georgia Tech Sunday, Wake Forest a couple of nights ago. They were spent. They were spent.
This is a draining conference to have to play in, and I guess if you are a little bit tired and you're a little bit shaky, coming into Chapel Hill is not the place to be. I don't think Florida State should take too much badness from this loss because they really played a great Carolina club tonight.
Well, that'll do it from here. We enjoyed the pleasure of your company. Tomorrow, it's another ACC showdown. The Yellow Jackets heading to Raleigh to take on North Carolina State. Tune in tomorrow at 1 for more great ACC basketball here on your Raycom Jefferson Pilot Sports Station. Check your local listings. For Gil McGregor and our producer, Rob Reichley, our director tonight, Lottie Dale, our entire